Hey, I just had a cat in my lap, and then I spoke, and it frightened him, and he nearly did me an injury. Hi, how you doing, Joe and Indy Skeef? I see. It is prototyping day. You're not wrong. Yeah, it's been weirdly quiet on the socials lately, and not just the Operation Puppet socials, but like everywhere. I guess maybe it's end of summer or something and people are on vacation. So I have no idea. Like every Discord I'm on, like all my social media stuff, everything is just like crickets. So I don't know, whatever. That is part and parcel of me saying that I am currently on a sort of semi-vacation, as the members of the Discord may know. However, that does not stop the build stream, because we're gonna do something funky today. If we stay quiet, it makes things go insane. You know, I could handle a little bit of this stuff happening, but you know, it's all good. One thing we didn't end up talking about on the last podcast. Yes, listen to the podcast. You know what? I think this is the moment where I stop hitting the button every time I say the word podcast. You all know that we do a podcast at pixelsandpuppets.com. It's time to stop. And part of this is that when we talked about the whole phase 2 stuff, when I talked about the whole phase 2 stuff, I've kind of had a rethink. Surprise, surprise. I'm kind of going, you know what? I'm just tired. I don't think I can't do the content creator fire hose thing. I just can't. I'm going to make what I want to make when I want to make it. I'm going to make it as good as I can. I'm not going to worry about just pumping out content. Puppets don't follow the same rules as anything else, and that's one of the very nice things about them. And I'm just going to do my thing. That's it. I'm not going to stress about numbers or viewers or whatever, as long as I'm selling some puppets on the shop, and that's a kind of a different thing anyway. So it's all good. We'll keep doing the build streams because they're fun and I like them and people enjoy them. So it's been a whole thing. I've had a couple of days of just like chilling and not doing a whole lot. I've done some tech stuff, which is very interesting. And maybe do some more after the stream. The stream PC may be about to be gutted, as those who have visited the Gizmo Town channel on our Discord this morning may know. However, that doesn't say anything about what we're doing today. So today, because I'm on this sort of semi-vacation, I got all the builds that I had planned done for August last week on last Friday. So it's a long month. I kind of had a few days here just kind of go, well, whatever. So I am taking a bit of downtime, and that's good. If you don't stress about the numbers will come. You're not wrong. Yeah, I don't even want to look at it anymore. It's too stressful, and there's no point. Like I said, there's nothing. I have learned trying to do something and trying and just letting it happen organically. There's no difference. Like the line doesn't go up when you try. It's just gonna, the algorithms. There is no algorithm for the puppet sphere. That's the thing, right? It's just gonna go with the ebb and flow of the firmament. So, you know, don't even worry about it. Just do your thing. Wherever you want to do it, however you want to do it. Just be sensible. You know, forget the content mill. That's the thing. So yeah. Anyway, what are we doing today? So because I'm not building for the shop as normal, I'm going to get back to that next week. Next week it starts the big Halloween builds. Other than Frankenhuman back here. We do all the Halloween smalls are going to be starting next week. We go back to Windows 7. You know, Windows 10 was, I think, yeah, Windows 7 was pretty good. But Windows 10 is like my happy place, I think. I liked Windows 11 when it came out. They have just, so much. We'll talk about it on the next podcast, I think. But they've done bad things. Microsoft bad. Frankenhuman says Microsoft bad. Yeah, so one of the things I'm doing with this little bit of downtime-ish, I'm still working, I'm just doing things like this. So I want to do some stuff that I've always wanted, like planned on doing, but just never had the time to do. So that's one of the things we're going to do today. I have no idea how long this stream is going to be. It may be a short one. We'll just see how far we get, because I, first of all, not even close to done my coffee yet. So we got to get through that. So let's talk about what we are going to do today. Hey, there's a whole idea. We've been going for 7 minutes and 34 seconds. Hey, Scarlett, how you doing? Either later, I'm being captive by a 2-year-old. Well, I guess there are worse fates. At least you could probably get away, you know? So what we are doing today is vertical mouth plates. Dun, dun, dun. I should have had a sting or something ready, but you can insert your own sting. What's a vertical mouth plate, you say? Well, it's pretty easy to picture. You know how most puppets are like this? Well, these puppets are like this. So Beaker is the classic example of a vertical mouth plate. There are others, but Beaker is probably the most clear, kind of like, oh yes, obviously the performer is doing this, right? Rather than doing this. So now you would think, well, what's the difference? Hey, Demon Dreamer, nice to see you. Look at it, we got people coming already. I expect it to be quite slow today, just based on how quiet socials in general have been. So, you know, we'll see. It's pretty quiet last week as well. So what's the difference? Is there a difference between you doing it this way? Like, surely it's just a matter of going like that, right? There isn't. It actually, because of the way the fabric folds and stuff, you actually have to treat it a bit different. Oh, Scarlett's doing the robot thing. And so the reason that you have to treat it different is because of how the fabric folds. So when you do a horizontal mouth plate, Michael, hello. What happens when you do the fleece skin on it is, I mean, as you know, your standard round head Pac-Man style puppet pattern. When you put the fleece on it, you get these little folds at the corners, right, of the mouth. And that's good. We want that. That's the Kermit dimples, right? And you don't have to do anything for that. That's the beautiful thing of it. It's how the fabric naturally wants to fold, which is great. We love that. Everybody loves the Kermit dimples, right? But that's not the case if you just do the mouth plate vertically. What you do is you get this weird kind of bunching at the corners rather than the nice foldy dimples. Now, that could be okay depending on the character. Sometimes you may want those weird folds. It may look right for the character, or you may put a beard on it or something, and who knows, you may want to hide it. So then it's not really an issue. But because the fabric does that, you need to do at least the skin, the fabric pattern, in a different method. So normally what we do, as you know, with your standard round head Pac-Man style pattern, is we do a left-right mirror. And for vertical mouth plate puppets, you generally don't. Now, I've never built one, and this is the thing, I've always wanted to build one, but I've never done it practically. I only know some theory, so this is the practice of that. Now, I do actually have I didn't bring them down, so I can't show you, but I do actually have a vertical mouth plate puppet, and it is one of the old FAO Schwartz whatnots. Andy Wartrol, I called them, because we got to be in New York. Vertical like Sam and Beaker seem like they are tubes. Yes, so Beaker very much is a tube. In fact, I'm almost sure that the actual for real Beaker isn't even made out of foam. I've seen people do repros of Beaker with just like a cardboard tube, and just literally slicing a piece out of the tube and doing it like a ventriloquist dummy mouth, and it works perfectly and it looks exactly right. So you wouldn't really have a reason to build Beaker out of foam, because there's no reason for that to be soft, right? It needs to hold its shape. So, you know, like a cardboard tube covered in fleece would actually be better for something like Beaker, because it's more uniform. It will hold its shape. You don't have to worry about it. And you're just putting, you know, a disc of hair on top. So you don't even need to worry about that. So I would be surprised if for real Beaker is actually foam. I think it's probably like a tube of some kind in there. SAM is another good example. Thank you. SAM is a double thing because SAM is both a vertical and curved mouth plate. So that's a whole. SAM is actually all carved foam in there. I know that for a fact. But it's still a different challenge. So SAM, or at least the old SAM, I think the new SAM is covered in flays, like they all are. But the original SAM was not. That was all just carved foam. So you didn't have to worry about the fabric being weird and foldy. You had to worry about glue lines rather than anything else. But so what I want to experiment with is, first of all, we're going to do a style of patterning that we haven't done before, that I've never done before. I know it exists. I've seen, like, I think Swazzle's done a couple of videos on this. We're doing foam prototyping. So we're going to start by building something in foam, then cutting it apart and laying it flat and making a pattern from that. It's a really interesting way of doing it. And it is a similar philosophy to my just draw something and make it style of patterning, in that you don't really know where you're gonna go with this. You don't know how it's going to end up, but you're just playing around, just making something and seeing what it looks like, and then iterating on that. But there's a couple of theories I want to play with and test out because I've never done this before. This is me learning, right? And there's been a theme, I don't know if you've noticed, over the past few build streams, and it's me like not getting stuff right. Or just trying something and it not going 100%, or, you know, whatever. And that's part of, I think, what's nice about these build streams is that I don't want to come off like some kind of, you know, authoritative, like, this is how you build puppets. I'm not necessarily teaching you how to build puppets. I'm learning along with you. You know, I've been doing this for 4 years, and clearly I know at least some of what I'm doing, but I also know that there's a whole universe out there. And that's the thing I keep saying, is that there's no finish line, right? You're a puppet builder if you build puppets. And it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it or what your puppets look like. If you build it, you are a builder. So so that's what we're doing now. I'm just playing around and experimenting and basing things on speculation that I don't actually know, and we're gonna F around and find out. It's the theme. See, I didn't even swear. But that's what we're doing today. We're gonna try working the foam prototyping. The Frankenstein head came out. You put 2 bucks and you made it work with a Halloween build. Oh, well, that's the other thing. I don't actually know if I mentioned this. I ended up, because of the boxiness and all that stuff, and yeah, I could have done the add more darts, which I will do in future. But what I ended up doing with the actual Frankenstein was I just literally sliced the top of his head off and put a ring of boning in there. So it's actually perfectly flat, which of course is appropriate for Frankenstein. So, you know, it all worked out in the end, as you say. So yeah, I'm just gonna drink my coffee and then we're gonna get to it. The danger honey is gonna come out, and I have not prepped anything. I'm coming in this completely cold and, like, you know, because I haven't been building at all, so the shop's kind of been in dormant state. I just opened it up this morning just to do this for you people out there. So, you know, but that's it. You can't, the secret to doing something right is to do it wrong, right? That's the thing. Like, you gotta get there. It's not gonna just happen. The secret to making good puppets is to make bad puppets, right? That's how it goes. That's how the only way you learn is by doing. And if you wait until you know, then you'll never know, because part of the process of learning is just doing it and not having it work out and trying to figure out why it didn't work out, right? Thank you, Seth. It is a good motto. If you wait until you're ready, you'll never be ready. The thing you got to do is sometimes just jump in with both feet. Go, well, we're gonna try it. Be brave. Sometimes you got to be brave. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes that's not sensible, but I think in puppet building it's pretty good. All right, let's get going. Enough chatter. Oh, also, that reminds me, I finished just this morning, finally, the script for the next episode of The Oracle. Yay, at long last. I'm going to be shooting that probably tomorrow. So look forward to that. There is a new Oracle episode on the horizon. which I'm very pleased about because it's been too long. Okay, let's get to it. Seth, on my way to the shop for some building today. Hey, me too, Kurt. I'm already here, so. Like to hear it. So the very first thing I want to do now, so what we're going to do is we're going to build a thing based on an idea I've got, and then we're literally going to cut it apart, lay it flat, and that camera's blown out again, isn't it? It is. Oh well. Too late. I do have an idea for how I can work on that during the stream. Excuse me. I think I might need a lozenge. Do I have any lozenges in here? I do not. I'll be right back. In fact, I'm not even going to turn my mic off. We're going to see how far this goes because I have to go to the other end of my apartment. We're going to see if the mic actually cuts out and comes back. So I'm now in the hallway and walking down past the kitchen and into the office. I'm now in the office grabbing a pack of lozenges, walking back. Isn't this is exciting stream material right here. I need a lozenge if I'm gonna talk. That's the important thing. I don't know if that worked out. I can see the mic meter bouncing, so clearly it at least reconnected. Did I go too far out of range? Did I ever cut out? Let me know. I'm curious about the range of this mic. I have no idea. So I as a award-winning diabetic, my lozenge of choice is sugar-free Fisherman's Friends. Like a chair live stream, yeah. Okay, so like I was saying, what I'm going to do is build a thing in foam. Then we're going to take it apart, lay it flat, and make a nice pattern out of it. Because what we're going to end up with here is really just kind of a rough thing. So I'm going to make a shape that's kind of like the shape I want to end up with. And it was crystal clear. Oh, wow, cool. All right, this bike's got good range. Good to know. That's through several walls as well, so not bad. So yeah, to start with, we're going to do more complex shapes later, but to start with, we're just going to do your standard beaker cylinder, which is the simplest possible thing to make. And we're going to start simple, work our way up. The goal for this stream is to just get at least the prototype done in the beginnings of a pattern. So my plan is we're going to make a cylinder. We're going to draw where we want the mouth approximately, just eyeball it, cut that out. Then we're going to cut the whole thing apart, lay it flat, and start to make a pattern from that. And then we're going to build the kind of final version of the foam, and then we will make a mouth plate based on that. That's my order of operations. So we will see. The first thing we need is some foam and decide how big we want our cylinder. Let's see here. I'm going to make this easy. We also want to make sure that we have clean center lines. So we're going to want to, yeah, so we're trying some experiments here. So we don't want it too wide. We also don't want it too thin. So let's say about there. That's probably good. Now, what's that? I got stuff everywhere. You know, I'm using standard poly foam, like upholstery foam. Because the reticulated foam I have, it's going to have a trigger or it's going to be hand. This one's going to be hand operated, but trigger operated is an option for the future. Adam Savage has said mistakes can be a beautiful thing unless you put a cannonball through a minivan in the neighboring town. Yeah, the famous Mythbusters episode that will never be aired, right? So it looks like about here will get us to a good point. That's 11. Let's make it 12 just so it divides evenly and simply. It's going to be a bit bigger, but that's okay. So we're going to mark that. I'm going to mark that. How tall do we want this? We'll make it tall-ish. Make sure that's not too... We don't want too... No, that seems okay. So let's go. I don't know. We don't want it too long. We'll go 8 inches. 8 inches tall. It's going to be a short cylinder. Oops. That went poorly. Let's try that again. 8's right there. There we go. We want to make sure we get this as square as possible. A nice even cylinder. All right. It's not going to be an even cylinder. Oh well. That's all right. That's all right, Scarlett. No problem. Understand your situation is a bit unique at the moment. Do what you got to do. We're fine. We do miss you, of course. Let's also mark the center point here. Now we're also going to do something I don't normally do. We're going to keep the pen mark on the outside just so I can see, you know. The interesting thing about this is if we do this the way I think it is, we could actually make this a single piece pattern. So I don't know. We'll see. See how that goes. I have no idea how sharp this blade is. Let's find out. F around and find out. The family-friendly version of that statement. Yeah, it's not bad. We'll do this at least. You're going to want a good sharp one for the mouth carving. But that's next. Okay. So all we're going to do is make a tube out of this. So this is Danger Honey time. Let's get this foam, this big old sheet of foam out of the way here. I was saying the reticulated foam that I have is very, very soft. I mentioned this before. I think they sent me the wrong softness. I wanted medium softness, and I think they sent the extremely soft stuff. So for a tube, this will actually hold its shape a bit better. That could be a bit stiffer. I don't want to put a whole lot of, like, you know, supports and boning, whatever in there. All right, so basically we just have to glue these two ends together, make a tube. So that means I gotta close the door, so scaredy cat Jimmy is gonna be locked out. Window is already open, the fan is on. Safety first, kids, as always. We're getting the mask. They need more little kid puppet TV shows. Yeah, well, it's all been supplanted with CG now, right? That is the thing. Budget, 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 you know. Okay, let me turn the mic on the mask. And we will get geared up. You got a suit up. Yeah, plenty of puppet shows on YouTube. Even for kids. It's kind of where it's moved, right? Because it's now just like people doing it. All right, here we go. Time for the Danger Honey. Dun dun dun. Is this gonna open? Nope. Jamie, hello. Nice to see you. I didn't know there were rumors of your demise. I hope not. Okay. There we go. All right. Dangering the danger, honey. Great even cutting. Look at the difference there. Wow, that's a lot. Oh well. We'll work it out. It'll be fine. Oh, Jamius, that's no good. Another nightmare at work. I personally have been playing a video game that I bounced off of heavily and kind of enjoying it, and it's not Baldur's Gate 3. We'll talk about this on the next podcast. I don't know why I did that in a Gus voice. Gus is in the new episode of The Oracle, so I'm just warming up. In the upcoming episode of The Oracle. Switch capacity upgrade in our communications room. Yikes. All right, let's see how this goes. It was less nightmarish than last time, just a lot to do. Gotta make sure it'll work. Yep, it's true. Gus is marketing. All right, now I am doing this with the pen marks on the outside intentionally. I'm doing it wrong on purpose, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, one tube. Yay, we achieved the tube. If I was going to do this for real, I would definitely put some boning in here to keep this as a nice round shape. It wants to kind of go pointy, as you see, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. We're only worried about the mouth right now, so let's get rid of this. Because we're already done with the Danger Honey, at least for now. Very short Danger Honey segment. Okay, turn the mic on the mask off. Save battery and your ears. Okay, so here we have a tube and we have a line down the tube. Line is important. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the profile of the mouth, basically how I want it. Because of course what we want is for when the mouth is closed, we want it to be flush, right? So thankfully we're starting out with it flush. It was like a rat's nest made out of colorful spaghetti. I should let you look behind the RTV and under my desk one day, Jamie, you'll have a heart attack. Okay. So again, we're going standard beaker style here. So I'm going to try and make this as even as I possibly can, which is not at all, but you'll see where I'm going with this. All right, I'm not too deep as well. We don't want to overextend ourselves. Let's try that. That looks all right. So, Now we're going to cut this out. Try it with the not incredibly sharp blade. See how that goes. Being very careful. This might actually be better done with a an X-Acto knife. And I'm also trying to make sure I'm keeping this at a 90-degree angle to the surface of the foam. Not succeeding, of course, but I'm trying. All right. There's that. Now again, this is the point at which I have no idea what I'm really doing, so we're just trying stuff out. So there we go. There's our vertical mouth. Okay. So I can see a couple things already. Because of the thinness of the foam, it wants to flatten. It wants this surface here. Right, you can see it kind of there. It wants to make the mouth flat, but the other part remains a tube. That can be corrected maybe with a ring of boning. Oh, and also we can curve the mouth plate itself. But here's what I want to do from this point, because I'm not sure once we get this together how flush this is going to sit. And of course the challenge here is when we come to make the fabric pattern, how are we going to do the mouth lining? How are we going to attach the mouth plate? You know, what's that whole thing? We're going to do fold and glue, we're going to do stitch and glue. It was intentionally looking very beakery. The beaker is the simplest version of this I can think of. So, as a fellow man with short hair, I do buy a lot of those hair shaper blades. Yeah, these are fantastic for carving up foam. I don't actually use them on my hair. I've got machines that do that. I don't know. I'm not quite sure where to go from here. So what I planned on doing was now cutting down this line, laying this out flat, and then making a nice trued up pattern from that. Maybe we should just do that. And then put that together and see how it looks. Right? Because what I want to do is I want to build it with the mouth open. I don't want to have to cut the mouth every time I do this, obviously, because we want it to be even. So that's why I would only do half and then mirror it. Right? We're trying to do a mirrored foam, and I know that we won't be able to do a mirrored fleece, but hopefully we'll be able to do mirrored foam and mouth plate. So what I want to do is cut this apart, make a pattern from it, put that pattern together, and then we will pattern the mouth plate because it will be even then, right? So let's just do that. Let's just, I don't know. Let's just try that. So now we could have also done this on the side that already had the seam, obviously. But this is a good illustration of something, and I'm sure I've seen a Swazzle video about this, of foam prototyping, where you build a thing in foam and then you cut it apart and make a pattern from that. It's a really interesting way of going about it. Okay, so this is cool. I can see where this is going. All right, so now that we have this, we know that this is our pattern. And if we pattern it with this a little bit open, like your standard puppet, it shouldn't matter that much. I'm not even sure which one we should do. You know, and like I said, because if we're going to do this as a cylinder, we can just do this as a single piece. Like we don't need to have this seam here. We could just do this as a single piece of foam. It's really interesting. Yeah, you know, because it's foam, right? So this will close properly. I think I like this one, but this one got a little bit more even than this. This one has a little weird divot. Although I like this profile a bit better. Maybe we'll do this one. Just cut that off. Cut it off right now. Don't wait. Just do it. See? There we go. Okay. Hey, Scarlett's good. I don't even think Scarlett is able to watch this stream right now, and yet they're still with the links. I think it was the elephant puppet they built. Yeah, yes. I think you're right. Okay, so what I want to do is get some cardboard, some cardstock, and then we're going to make a pattern from this. I think that's what we will do. I'm gonna get a piece of 12-inch cardstock because we're gonna want some room to work here. Thank you, Scarlett. All right, so these are going to get interesting. This is going to quite. Oh, you know what? It will. Pretty much exactly fit. Oh, this could be good, actually. Watch Blue because it's great. It has some good example parenting skills. See? Pro tips. So the goal now is to make a pattern that's going to be even when you put it together. Obviously, this isn't. So I'm just going to go with this shape. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna build it so the mouth is slightly open. So what this is, I mean, is so unbelievably simple. All we really need is to square it up and then draw the mouth shape and then cut that out, and that's kind of it. So that's cool. Let's try that. You see, again, I have no idea if this is gonna work, or I don't really know what I'm doing. This is all pure speculation. So this is part of the adventure. So we know we're going to go about there. And I'm just going to draw us a little curve following this. Of course, we could even reuse this foam because this is just a single cut. We could actually glue this together and just use this foam again. No reason to waste it. Okay. So why didn't I do it on the other side? You'll see. So now I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and make it as even and just kind of nice looking as I can get it. Let's go with that. It doesn't look too bad. We will make a nice, hopefully square line across them. Because this is 12-inch paper, I didn't even think of this ahead of time, but this would have been much more impressive if I planned it this way. Thank you, Scarlett, once again. So, what we're going to do, we're just going to fold it in half. And get our junk scissors, cut this shape out. Show it off camera. I'm not really looking at the stream, I'm sorry. Right. And then we'll do this, because we know that's the top. And voila, one pattern. So, Scarlet Spam. I think it's their superhero name. Coming in the night, the Scarlet Spam. All right. Cool. All right. This is I'm kind of got a good feeling about this, which is different from the feelings I usually have when I do stuff like this. Might go bad? I don't know. We'll see. Thing is, like, when this closes, this might make a weird fold. I don't know. We'll see. We're just gonna put it together and see what it looks like. No idea. But because I don't want to waste foam, why would I want to waste foam? We're not gonna waste foam. I'm gonna glue these shut, and we're just gonna draw this pattern onto here and cut it out, and then put it together. See what it looks like. And then make a mouth plate pattern for that. Yes, Demon Dreamer. So that's one of the things. The ventriloquist style, where the lower jaw is a separate piece. That's kind of, as far as my understanding goes, that's kind of what you have to do with the fleece pattern or the skin pattern for this style puppet, because of how it folds weird. So normally we do a left-right mirror like this, but for the fleece pattern, you kind of have to do it in 3 pieces. You have to do a front piece, a back piece, and then a lower jaw piece. And that's very much like the ventriloquist style. So yes, you are absolutely on the money. So I'm gonna glue that closed so we can use this foam again. And then what I might do is recut this seam and then do the mouth on this side, just so we have a nice clean working place and we don't need to like be cutting through another seam. Seems like a seems also seems sensible. Where did my other glove go? I dropped it. Yeah, Langston Hughes, who was the builder who I got the feature, the nose making technique from, does a lot of ventriloquist dummy puppets out of soft foam. A lot of human style characters. All right, back with the mask. Oh, I didn't turn the mic on. Hey, Scarlet. How you doing? Thank you for the spam. We've decided your superhero name is the Scarlet Spam, which is pretty good. It's a double meaning for somebody in the UK, right? This gives me the Scarlet Spam, 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 and spam. I'm hoping food to let me watch. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna close up these seams with the Danger Honey. See, Scarlet shows up when the Danger Honey comes out. Of course. Sorry, that's off camera. I heard Langston Hughes. Sorry, did I say Langston Hughes? I meant Langston Hatch. Or did I say Langston? I can't remember whichever one I said was probably the wrong one. I was thinking of Langston Hughes because there's a museum exhibit in New York soon on the Harlem Renaissance that I would really like to go and see. So I kind of had it on the brain. I'm sorry if I did that by mistake. I feel doubly bad about that because the Langston puppet builder is actually black as well. So that's a terrible faux pas. I apologize. Hey, at least I know who Langston Hughes is, eh? Okay. I missed something from Demon Dreamer. Also, I just dropped something. I'm not sure what. I hope it didn't affect the stream. All right, so I'm just closing up this temporary patterning version here. And I think the sensible thing to do is to close this up, then reopen this seam so we have a single flat piece to work from. We're just flipping it around, basically. It's what everyone thought. I hope not. I need you all. Yes, Demon Dreamer. Yeah, that's always one of the challenges, right? Is to try and find people local to you. I can tell you right now, at where I live here in Toronto, no such luck. Closest is probably Tom Stewart in Hamilton. This may seem silly and excessive, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. I'm basically like reforming this foam back into a single piece. Because I don't want to waste it. I'll move to Toronto with sort of puppet making company called Operation Puppet with 2 T's. It does have a lot of seams, but don't worry, I'll never see it. Demon Dreamer, no, I was not, unfortunately. I was not able to. I didn't even realize it was running. I saw somebody post about it. I may have actually been able to if I had realized it was happening, but I'm so wrapped up in my own stuff that I rarely see stuff like that. All right. We're going to open this seam again. With multiple surgeries on this poor foam. All in the interest of not wasting. Okay. I just wanted a nice clean surface to start from, that's all. I don't even know if I should bother taking the mask off, because this won't take long. So, basically all I want to do is trace this evenly and then glue it back together. It's not bad. It's out of whack on the top, but I'm not going to worry about that for this. Let's see. I'll put the Sharpie, there it is. You're going to sit up again next to you. Good. You see where I'm going with this, I hope. I hope I see where I'm going with this, because this is all speculation. Okay? So I'm tempted to get a new blade. This might be a little bit dull. You want this really, really sharp. Let's try it. PuppetCon will be in 2025. We got some plans to make, I think. I know for a fact next year we're going to try and do something. We're going to try and shoot something at Fan Expo here in Toronto with the puppets. Nothing official, but we'll do a floor walk around or something and bring a camera and see how it goes. This is very thin. Okay. All right. Put the little piece out here. A little bit better. All right, here we go. And now we put it back together. Good make sure Batman is the best Marvel character. I would like to leave with most of my skin intact, thank you. There was probably a more sensible way of doing this. I just didn't think of it at the time. Of course, you know, the other way we could do this is to mirror it the other way and just do a cutout in the middle. That'd be fine too. One thing I would like to experiment with is try doing a left-right mirror with this style of mouth and seeing how the fabric lies, because I don't actually know. I don't have any first-hand experience with that. It's all speculation. So just to see why, like I want to intentionally do it what I believe is the wrong way to understand why it's the wrong way. That's science. That's how science works. We're going to science this up. All right, I'm gonna do this the other way around. It doesn't really matter. I got pen marks on both sides. Oh well. Oh well. Yeah. You roll your dice, you take your chances. So we're just going to put this together as carefully as we can. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Okay, so a couple of observations. Let me get the mask off here and we can talk. It's not yet an epic fail, although it's definitely in the running. Although I don't know, there's something interesting about this. I think we can make something out of this. Whether it's what we wanted or not, I don't know, but you don't believe how this puppet builder messed up. I'll be the hit of the TikTok. Both the tick and the talk. Mic off. Oh, everything's a blur. The thumbnail, a red circle, and an arrow. In text saying he used barge. No, it's going to be an arrow to something that isn't really there or not part of the video, or like to something completely misleading, because that's what you have to do apparently to get people to watch your video, is mislead them. That's a good plan. Okay, you know what? This is kind of interesting. So one thing is, this is going to hold together or hold its shape much better once the skin is on it. And also when the rigid mouth plate's here. One thing I can see doing, it's interesting in that it kind of has a built-in lip. Like if you do the mouth plate, just the interior here, the fabric part, that kind of creates its own lip, which is kind of cool. Now the gap might be a little too big. Every thumbnail has the same simple sentence. It goes pronoun, verb, noun. Yep. Let me tell you, one thing with the Oracle episodes is the fact that most of them, at least in season 2, have one-word titles. Sometimes that's not easy to come up with. I don't know why I ended up doing it like that. I just did. I wanna finish making this. This is interesting. I'm not sure it's gonna end up being exactly what I want, but it's interesting enough that I want to keep going. I think possibly cutting away material here was not the thing to do. You know, because it does leave that gap. Now, we may want that gap. That gap may be a good thing. Or, you know, it depends on the character, right? If you don't want the gap, don't make the gap. But then it would just be a slit, right? It would just be a cut. I'm tempted to, you know what? We'll make another one. Let's make another one using this, but we'll only do one line and then we'll just cut the slit and then, aha, this is it. This is how we do that. Okay, I got you. We're good. We're going to do another. We're going to do 2. This will be one, this will be the other, and then we'll just see how it goes. See? It's fun to experiment. The gap could be full of fabric or something. Well, that's the other thing I'm thinking. Like, you won't really know until we get the fabric on there. I still think the gap is going to be too much, but that might be a good thing depending on the character. Like it depends, it could be some abstract character where if you do the mouth lining in black, that could actually look quite good, right? So it depends. A blobfish with a puppet mouth hinge like that might be hilarious. Yeah, see, now we're thinking. So what I want to do basically is just make a This is 8 by 12, right? We know that's 12. That's 8. This is doing 8 by 12 square. I'm gonna stand up for this because I have to. J77D, hello. Nice to see you. Or at least read you. Do I have any nice square corners I can use for this rather than trying to eyeball it entirely? Right angles and foam. I don't know. Foam wasn't made for right angles. Okay. And then we want 8 by 12. By all means, ask away. It's 12. There's 8 on this side. On this side. Do you make paper dragon puppets? I have never made either a paper or a dragon puppet. So the answer there would be no, but interesting. I have seen them before. They are very cool. But I do not. I have never made one, no. I'm pretty much your strict Muppety foam, fleece, and fur kind of builder. Okay, so now we've got this. Really shouldn't be doing it that way. Let's do it this way. See what I'm doing. Okay. So now I think what I'm gonna do, and the only reason I really want to make a pattern here is A, so it's consistent, but also so it's even, right? So I think what we'll do is we'll just draw this one line, and we'll just cut that one line, and we'll have it so it'll close flush. We won't have that gap. I think this could be the winner. We're onto something here. Right? Oh, I feel like we should be getting paid by Gus, yeah. I mean, how much Gus coin do you want? Because you could have all the Gus coin you want. All right, back to this is the Danger Honey heavy episode of the build stream. It's like an old Bart Simpson episode of The Simpsons. Because the reason that we want to pattern this out is so when we put it together and cut it out is even, but there's no reason to cut it out ahead of time. We just want to make sure that the pattern is even. When we put it together, we cut it out evenly. But that's the only reason you would want that. So yeah, let's just do that. I keep turning on. Maybe I should just leave the mic on and then charge it up later. If the mic is on the mask and me, is this too loud? Let me know. Because it's literally coming from two inputs, so there might be a bit of delay or something. I don't know if it's out of sync or what. And if it's fine, just let me know it's fine. And I'll just leave it. So we're not going to cut the mouth out ahead of time. We're going to put it together and then cut the mouth out. As long as there's no feedback, sound should be good. Okay, yeah. No, there shouldn't be any feedback from this, but I guess we'll see. They both go to the same transmitter, so... or the same receiver. They both transmit to the same receiver, so there is just one input. So... I don't know, we'll see. See how it goes. So much danger honey today. We're just danger honeying it up all over the place here. I tried to tell everyone you were on stream last night with accidental feedback. Don't do that. I believe it's another long weekend coming up, so I picked the right week to have a vacation. He said this is my version of vacation. I'm still building puppets, I'm just building experimental puppets. I agree. I think Phil Fletcher is a robot. Love you, Phil. But you're too perfect. It's embarrassing for the rest of us. See, I'm lining this up with the mouth. And I'll worry about the ends later, just to make sure the mouth is as even as we can get it. That's pretty bang on. That ain't bad. As precision goes, that's pretty good. Yes, J77D, you got a joke? We're ready to hear it. Sorry, I'm not always caught up with chat. All right. Mask off again. I'm not turning the mic off this time because chances are we're going to be back in danger honey territory soon. So, okay. So now I'm going to cut this mouth out. So see, now we have a nice even shape. So, and we can also then make a fabric pattern based on that. I am going to do a left-right mirror fabric pattern just to see. What's an animal that lies? I have no idea. Well, most of them actually. I don't know. What is an animal that lies? There you go. That's the response you were looking for. A lion. Uh-oh. And now you have to say Waka Waka because it's a puppet stream. It's a terrible joke. You fit right in. Well done. Okay. Now we're talking. You're literally talking. Look, he's talking. Okay. You know what? This is pretty good. I may actually want to cut that out ahead of time. This is a little too rough, a little too hacky. But we'll worry about that next time. Now, the neat thing about this is, you know, I never want the pen marks to be on the outside. Just because the fleece can sometimes be a little bit sheer. So the nice thing about this is we should, in theory, probably tear it to pieces in doing this, but we should be able to just literally flip this inside out. Carefully, carefully. Boom, there we go. See? Now no pen marks. This is workable. This is doable. Okay, we can do something with this. So the question is, now what? I'm going to use this one to make a mouth plate pattern. That's the next step. And then we're going to cut the mouth plate out and glue it in. How we glue the mouth plate is going to be really interesting. I'm not quite sure I know how yet, but you know, that's part of what we're doing here. We're figuring it out. Okay, where are we at time-wise? 12:11, not bad. I did say it may be a short stream, and it still may be a short stream. I am technically on vacation. Well, I had some cardboard. Where did I put it? Here we go. Okay, so I have here a nice folded piece of cardstock. Yeah, Phil Fletcher's made a bunch of vertical mouth plate style. So what I'm doing is taking the piece of cardboard and I'm slipping it in the mouth just like that, so it lies nice and flush. And we're just going to trace what we need. Now this should be relatively even top and bottom because it's just one cut, right? And so there's the center line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark center. We're just truing up the pattern here. Mark center. We're going to fold it on center. So this has been folded twice, right? We've folded it that way. Now we're going to fold it other way. And then we're going to take our junk shears, cut out along the line we just traced. And we have the beginnings of a mouth plate. So the question here is, and as I don't actually know, this is all new territory. So first we're going to see how this sits in here. It's not too bad. The interesting thing about this is it's definitely not going to need or want a lower grip because there's very little room. If we were to just glue this in as a flat piece of plastic, this forms its own little pocket, right? But how we would seat this? We want it. This is the tricky part. It's actually different on the top and bottom. The top wants a little bit more. We don't want to just glue this in like this. We don't want to glue this in flush to the surface. We want this to be recessed inside. That's the tricky part here. So the bottom plate is the right width. The top plate we want to be 1/2 inch bigger because we want to glue it on the inside. So this is a first, a different width for the top and bottom plates. So let me trace one of these. There's the center. And then we're going to use a seam gauge, set to 1/2 inch. And we'll just give us a 1/2 inch seam allowance around this. There. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to fold this in half. So where the halfway point is. And then this is just so it's even. This is a quick and simple way of mirroring something, and also finding the true center point. All right, so there's our top plate. So the top plate would get glued in like that in the back. This would be correct for the fabric plate. The interesting thing is, how does the hinge work? This is possibly why you do the bottom jaw as a separate piece. In fact, I'm almost sure it's why. I think we're just about to learn why you don't do it like this. Because the hinge becomes a problem. The hinge has to go from the inside to the outside. Or does it? Can we do a version where the hinge is just the hinge? I would like to stop saying hinge now. What that's going to do is make... No, that would be okay, actually. I should probably complete a sentence. I'm sorry, this is me just working. This is how I figure stuff out, right? I see we're talking about Indies keep color blindness. I've missed a whole bunch of chat. I apologize. I'm really curious. You know what? It might be okay. It's the fabric pattern that's going to define that. I'm just going to put it together and make it. See, you know that one of these is correct for the bottom. And we have a center point. So we're going to make a very funky mouth plate. Okay. Sure. Let's just make one, glue it in, see what happens. That's what's naturally going to happen. The pocket's kind of going to naturally happen on the bottom. It's the top mouth plate having to be inside and the bottom mouth plate being outside. That's the weird part. Then that's where the hinge is going to get funky. But hey, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. This is it. This is how, just mess around and we figure stuff out. So I'm going to grab some plastic here. I'm just going to use our usual flexible cutting mat plastic. And, oh, you know what I should do? I should trace the notches. You are absolutely correct. In these games. I mean, everything is worth a shot. Okay. So. There's the top. I don't usually do a fixed hinge anyway. That may be an advantage with this. A little sometimes, but I like the looseness of the fabric gap in there. Yeah, it's funny. I'll do that sometimes too. Like I'll remember colors inverse, chromatically inverse to what they were. Oops! I just knocked some scissors onto the floor. We'll ignore that for the moment. I'm taking my heavy duty junk scissors and cutting out this plastic. We're going to file this down so it's not any sharp edges. The fabric mouth plate is going to be odd. Yes, it is. Well, not necessarily, because the fabric mouth plate is actually just this. It's the two small pieces. It's the fabric skin that's going to get weird. Like, how that's going to work, I'm not sure. But the thing is, that's why you do it in three pieces, front, back, and then lower jaw, right? That may solve that whole thing. So I have no idea. At this point, we are flying on fumes, friends. I have no clue. No clue. No cue? I have no cue either, but no clue. Pure speculation. It's just me making mistakes. I'm sure there's more experienced puppet builders out there who are going to watch this and go, "What are you doing? This is why you don't do that." Shout out Tom Stewart. Sandpaper. Oh, I got a sanding block right here. Let's take this sanding block. We're just gonna sand down these little corners here because they're a bit pointy. You don't want them to put pointy things in your bucket. All right, so like I said before, I can't envision any scenario where in something like this we need a bottom grip. But probably for the finished product, we are going to want a top grip because you want something to anchor against. Andre, hello, nice to see you. But for this, I'm not going to worry about grips at all, just because we're in pure speculation territory here. This is going to be so odd to actually glue in. We're going to have to come in from the bottom and try. Oh boy, this is going to be a real bit of a challenge here, folks. It also seems like this is why we make our center lines, you see. Okay, you know what? It might be okay. It also feels like this I should have half an inch shorter. Just to accommodate, like, because we're actually going up a full inch inside, right? I'm also going to want to curve these a little bit. Thankfully, this is nice flexible plastic, so we can just kind of build in a curve. But yeah, putting the glue on here is going to be real fun. Good heavens, what have I done? I made a horrible mistake. No, this is fine. This is fine. This is experimenting. This is how we do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is while I've got this kind of seated in there, I'm going to draw a rough glue guide. All right, that's actually not, that's actually fine. That is pretty much bang on half an inch. So good. Everything is fine. You see? I told you it was fine. You didn't believe me, but it is. Okay, and for this one, so these also are going to be glued on different sides, right? This is going to be glued on the front side, and this is going to be glued on the underside. So we're going to put our glue guide lines on the underside. And I'm just going to rough that in because that's not really going to need to worry about that too much. Okay, danger anytime, yet again. This is probably going to be the last thing that we do. So, yeah, we've got an hour and a half so far. That's not bad for something I said it was going to be a short stream. If this works, we'll end, and if it doesn't work, we'll still end. I hope this has been instructive in some way, at least in what not to do. You probably didn't need to watch an hour and a half of what not to do, but, you know. We're all just hanging out, you know, the usual. We'll work this out. This has promise. I have a semi-good feeling about this. So the interesting thing is actually going to be getting the glue on the inside of this. It's almost worth cutting this open and then doing it. No, I'm not going to do that. Only a fool would do that, Kevin. Are you a fool? I try not to be. All right, we can do this. We just got to get a very long paintbrush. Like Leonardo da Vinci in this Sistine Chapel ceiling. That's how he did it. There was no scaffolding, he just had a very long paintbrush. This is impossible to see, I know. It's very difficult for me to see. I'm just tracing a line of glue along the inside of the top. Getting it everywhere, of course, but it's pretty much where I want it. Okay, and then on the bottom, we want that on the inside. This is going to be a disaster. I said that in Frankie's voice for a reason, because Frankie is my inner critic. What are you even doing? Why would you do this on stream? You're supposed to fool people into thinking you know what you're doing. All right, this actually isn't too bad. Okay, well, it will be a lovely disaster. What a good phrase. What a lovely disaster. Okay, so we've got our glue on the top plate. I think we'll put the bottom plate, no, put the top plate, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. They're both gonna be hard. Just thinking, can one brace against the other? You probably want it as flexible as possible for the top plate because we really got to get in there and do some weird things to it, so. All right. And blow dry it. I learned that I have two choices in barge last night, a small bottle or a huge paint can. No in between, oh no. So yeah, this is the quart. I know there's a pint, there's a quart, and then there's the giant bucket. I usually get the quart. I guess the quart is not available for you. Like, even for me, it would be a mistake to get the big one because I don't use it in enough quantities. And the solvent evaporates even through the tin. So the bottom half of the big bucket would end up as just gluey, gummy nonsense. This is the perfect size for me. I can go through one of these in a couple of months and then I'm good and I get another. Okay, so let's see, which do we want to do first? I guess we'll do the hard one first. Easy if I could just prop the bottom plate open, but no such luck. At least if I draw those guides are super important for this. And sorry if this is off camera, but I'm really kind of struggling with it here. How far down is that? It seems all right. All right, are we in? I think we're in. I think we're good. Okay, there we go. Top plate is in. First problem I see is that really wants to like flatten out the shape, which is not what we want. So curved nose plates are probably a requirement for this, I would say. Yeah, okay, so not a complete loss, but we definitely have learned some valuable things here about why it's not done like this. I think it could be done like this. You would just have to do some work here. It's actually not that bad. It's just there's no room in here, so we would have to curve this, and then the bottom jaw actually wants to be bigger. You want to make that bigger. I think I'm understanding why it's done the way it's done. Surprise, surprise. Turns out the people who did this before me knew what they were doing. And probably did this. Well, that doesn't work. Oh, we're talking about imperial versus metric, huh? I know it's terrible for me being Canadian because, like, some stuff I have to think in metric and other stuff I have to think in imperial, and it's like I could never get it straight. I honestly would prefer metric for everything. But so interesting. Not a complete loss, but are definitely going to want to separate the bottom jaw and do that as its own piece, because we need to build the curve into the entire structure. We need to build the curve into the mouth plates as well, which we can do. We've done curved mouth plates before. That is doable. But just like this isn't quite where we want it to be. You see how it wants to separate out at the corner here. Now that can be fixed with a, it's a solid hinge. I don't want a solid hinge. Yeah, I can see. Right, we got the beginnings of something here, but this needs another iteration at least. But that's okay. That's why we do this, right? This has potential, Not too bad. Just need some help. Help, please. Anybody help? Yeah. All right. There we go. So I don't think I can or am willing to go any farther with this at the moment, but this may be a case where doing a foam rigid plate is actually a good idea. Haven't really done that. Worth looking into though. Yeah, all right. There we go. So that was kind of it. Educational, not the worst thing I've ever done, but also definitely not the best. Yeah, interesting. You know what? It's even this. Here I'm trying to make it work. If the bottom mouth plate was actually even smaller, this would work way better. This isn't a complete loss. This is something we can iterate on. But yeah, so it's slightly past the time I usually have lights. We still have, but we are still going out of the measurements. That's all right. The chat's still going to be there after the stream ends, so by all means, or you can take it to the Discord. That was your cue, Scarlett. All right, that'll do it for this weird experimental stream that I absolutely planned to be weird and experimental. Yeah. What is it? So what is this actually measured in? Let's see. It doesn't say. Liters, fluid ounces and liters. Fluid ounces first, liters in brackets. It's 32 fluid ounces, or 0.946 liters. So not quite a liter. Maybe you should just make it a liter, Bart. I know they're American. Some things can't be helped. But yeah. There we go. Scarlett's posting the link spam. Thank you, everybody. So there we go. I'm gonna go back to my vacation now and not think about this. I don't know when we're gonna iterate on this again. This was the first pass. There will be many, many more passes before this becomes a real thing. Or possibly just 2 or 3. I don't know. We'll see. Listen to Kevin talk about video games, puppets and video games with 2 other guys. Yes. One of them may be in the chat. Yeah, the newest episode of the podcast is out. And we are now into the #1 lists of our top 5 video games of all time. So if you like video games, if you like 3 old white men sitting around talking about video games, boy, have I got a podcast for you. Actually, I have probably 30,000 podcasts for you, but it's a bit of a crowded market, All right, I'm gonna take a break for a week or so. There may be a Frankie Play stream this weekend. I'm not sure. We'll just see how it goes, since I believe this is the long weekend. I don't know. We might be able to get something together going. I don't know. We'll talk I'll talk to JB on the Discord. We'll figure stuff out. So anyway, thank you everybody. It is lunchtime as always. Very nice to see you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you to the new people. And yeah, I'm gonna go have lunch. So there will be another one next week. As always, we will be thick into the Halloween builds by next week. So that'll be fun and hopefully not experimental. Okay, here we go. We're going to the end. See you later, everybody.